Okay.
Okay, so this next section is going to be for mastering your listening skills. You're going to listen to a 15-minute TED Talk, and then we're going to ask some questions. You can start it.
Money won't buy happiness. And it turns out it's true. Research by psychologists and sociologists and economists shows that while the absence of money, poverty, makes people miserable, once their basic needs are met, additional money does not translate into higher levels of satisfaction. Now, at this point, many of you are thinking, put me in that study. Right? You're thinking, you flood my life with cash, I'll get back to you on whether I'm happy or not. Well, strangely, that study's been done a few times. There's a number of researchers who've looked at lottery winners, and what they find is, immediately after somebody wins the lottery, they're happy, they're ecstatic. 1 year later, they're only slightly happier than the average person, okay? The question I've been asking over the last 20 or so years is, why? It sure feels like money should make us happy. Why doesn't it? Okay? And I think there's a variety of reasons, but one of the key reasons has to do with expectations. Our satisfaction depends on expectations. Basically, for any kind of material possession or income or status, when we have more than we expected, we're happy. When we have less than we expected, we're unhappy. When we get what we expect, we're just kind of comfortable. Now, that's not the reason money won't buy happiness. The reason money won't buy happiness is our expectations escalate. And once they do, they don't easily de-escalate. Some people call that a ratchet effect. You know what a ratchet wrench is? It's one of those wrenches you put on top of the bolt, and it clicks one way, and you pull against it, it's the other. There's a ratchet in our expectations. Let me give you some examples. I think it's best to illustrate it. Think about that first car you were ever able to drive. For me, it was a 1962 Volkswagen Beetle, and all that car had to do was get me away from my parents' house, and I was happy with it, and I polished the rust on it, and it was great. Until I rode in my friend, Johnny Meyer. He had a 1968 Volkswagen Beetle, and his car started on a regular basis, and it had heat. And as soon as I got in Johnny's car, I'm like, you know what? My 62 Volkswagen's not maybe the greatest thing ever. Maybe I need a little nicer car. And then, of course, I had a chance to ride with other friends, and you know, the pinnacle from a high school kid in the 70s was another friend who had a Trans Am, you know, like that big bird on the front. And if you ride in a Trans Am, there's no going back to a Volkswagen. And that's the problem of escalating expectations. Now, maybe cars aren't your thing. Let me show you another example. A few years ago, I took a group of students and we went up to Lake Minnetonka. Now, Lake Minnetonka is this gorgeous lake west of the Twin Cities, and it's home to rich people and celebrities and record producers and regular folks. It's a great place. And we all went up there, we rented a boat, we drove down the way a little bit, we saw this first place, and I thought, wow, wouldn't it be great if I could have a cabin on Lake Minnetonka? I'd come up here any weekend I want, and I gotta have a dock. I gotta have I think if you look closely, there might even be there's a grill there. That's all I need. If you give me this cabin, this dock, this grill, I will be perfectly happy. I will not need more, okay? Well, we float a little further, and I'm like, oh, wait. I think I would rather have a house with, you know, a roof that's been redone, so I don't have to fool around with that. And look, it's got windows that are solid, and ooh, it's got a Chris Craft, an old antique inboard. And if you're going to be on schmancy Lake Minnetonka, that would be a very cool boat to have. And it's got Adirondack chairs. I need those. And then I'm thinking, well, that first place I looked at wasn't so great. This is what I need. until I see this. And my thought is, all right, a brand new place, not very big, made of bricks, and then a great big dock so I could have a boat, a giant cabin cruiser, so that I could spend, the evenings in the little cabin and the great big cabin cruiser in the dock. This would just be great. This is exactly what I need, okay? This is what it would take to make me happy. Well, here comes the next one. Wait a minute. I don't need just a cabin. I need to move up here. I need this big house. I need, I want to, be honest to the log cabin lodge feel with this. And that's what I need. And it's got both the outboard, the Chris Craft, and I'm going to need a fishing boat. And it's got a striped yard. And I really would like that striped yard. Okay? And I'm happy with that. I said, wow, imagine the fun I would have, the people who would come to visit, who would hang out here. We would have a great time. This is what it would take to make me happy. Well, you can probably guess what's coming next.
What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? If you're checking your phone, stop that. Instead, try this technique from the mind science pioneer, Jose Silva. You see, when we're awake, our brain is at what is called beta, the waking level. But when we wake up in the morning, our brain...
You can skip it.
It's this house. Here's a brand new house made to look old, and it is awesome. Now, I gotta be honest with you, you know where this is going. When these houses are getting bigger, and they're getting so big now that it's hard to get them in the full frame, right? So just find a door, and that's about the height of a person, and this place is magnificent. It's got its own swimming area, and it's got all the boats. It's got the cruiser, it's got the Ranger, the bass boat, it's got jet skis, a little fleet of jet skis. And if you look closely, I think there is like a guest house in the back of it. And I thought as well, that'd be great. I could have people come visit my closest, dearest friends and then not have to stay in the same house as them. That's what I want. This is what would make me happy until I see this house and I'm like, okay, I don't need anything that looks old. I want something that's new and pretentious. Okay? And I'm going to tell you it's pretentious because, get this, it's been torn down so that somebody could build a bigger place, okay? But it's wonderful. Look at it. It's a beautiful house. It's in the better part of the lake because apparently it's not just living on Lake Minnetonka. It's the best neighborhood on Lake Minnetonka. It's the cleaner water, the deeper water. There's all this other stuff that factors into it. And I think, okay, whoever lives there must be ecstatic. They must love their life. How happy they must be. And then I see this. Now, I can't get it all in the frame. It is enormous. It's 3 full floors. If you look closely, you can see one of those umbrellas that they put out over a picnic table. Imagine a person could fit under there. And there it is. It's magnificent. It's got 7 smokestacks, and it's got certainly guests. I'll bet it's called a compound. And I want a compound. Now, think about this. Early in the morning of that day, I just wanted a little cabin, a place I could go hang out. But by later in the day, I needed the biggest house on Lake Minnetonka. I don't know, 15,000 square feet? I think my wife and I could live in we could be in separate counties, right? People call each other in this house. Now, did your taste escalate? Here's the test. Remember this little place right here? It would have been the dream cabin with just a big boat and that house. Well, I've been a little bit deceptive. It's actually the boathouse for the mansion. That's where they store inner tubes. That's the inner tube house, right? Now, you can have your taste escalate for cars and for mansions, right? And I got to thinking about this and I thought, I wonder if is there any product that's not aspirational, that you think if I just have this next thing, then I'll be really, really happy. So what I did is yesterday morning, I just turned on television and Googled a couple things on the YouTube channel there. And I said, all right, I'm going to search under the terms finest or nicest or best. And here's what came up, okay? Just from yesterday. Cars, tons of cars, lots and lots of cars. Not just the finest cars, the finest Rolls Royces. So think about that. You get enough money to buy a Rolls Royce, and suddenly there's a YouTube video that says you don't have the best Rolls Royce. You need an even better one. Of course, there was an unlimited number of houses like this, and if you think about it, there is a network channel that's dedicated to making you unhappy with the current house you live in. I mean, isn't that what happens on House and Garden TV? It just keeps getting nicer and nicer, and you think, oh gosh, my ceilings have that popcorn stuff on them, and apparently they hate popcorn ceilings. And then within the house, everything is escalating. There you can start with a little refrigerator, then you get the Sub-Zero refrigerator, you get the walk-in refrigerator, you get better stoves and better ovens, even towel bars. You can get heated towel bars. And I made fun of that, but I'll bet it's great. And I'll bet it's hard to go back to just good old room temperature towels once you've had that. There's no end to the handbags, the shoes, the designer stuff, the makeup stuff. And I mean no end. I don't know, what does nail polish cost? Anybody? What's a little bottle of nail polish cost? Pardon? $8? Okay, $8. You know how much you can spend on nail polish if you want to? I'll tell you, $267,580. Apparently, it's got little diamonds in it that I guess at the end of the day, you just throw them away because you're that rich. I even asked the question, all right, I get it for commercial products. What about like commodities? Like the two most common things in the world are water and salt, right? Salt of the earth. It's absolutely everywhere. I thought these have got to be the things. There's no aspirational water, is there? Yes, there is. You can spend $1,100 on a single bottle of drinking water. Okay, nothing else special other than a crystal decanter, but it's $1,000 for water. Okay, you've got a lot of money if you're spending $1,000 for water. How about salt? Salt, if you get the fancy Morton salt, it's 3 cents an ounce. Okay, but apparently you can buy a special salt that costs $36 an ounce. Okay, now unless that's made of salt extracted from the tears of Elvis, I can't imagine why it would cost so much. Okay, so the message here is there's no end to the escalation of our tastes if we're trying to find long-term life satisfaction from material things, from status. All right, so you might ask yourself, is that discouraging? And the answer is, well, it kind of depends. I think the message is both discouraging and freeing, depending on how you think about it. So you really got a couple options. Option number one, stay on the treadmill. Try to find happiness by buying the next new thing, getting a job where you make more money, only to buy a more expensive version of the thing, only to find a bigger, fancier job, and it just never ends. Okay? You could stay on the treadmill, but the danger is you start leading a lifestyle in service of this material stuff. You take a job you don't like because it pays a lot. You give up your hobbies because you got to go make a bunch of money to live with fancier things. You give up your friends. You stay away from your family. So there's a real danger to running on the treadmill. Daniel Kahneman, the psychologist and Nobel laureate, calls it the satisfaction treadmill because you never get to the end of it. All right? Second, the other alternative is to realize that there's only so much you can get from money and material possessions, and think of it this way. Money can make you miserable, but there's no amount of money that'll make you happy. So maybe the goal is to just be comfortable, to seek security, not ecstasy. So what's that mean? It means if you're living a pretty good life and you're pretty comfortable, maybe you try to put a lid on your expectations. Realize that you've got it good. Don't try to find too much. Don't sacrifice the job you love and the friends you have just so you can have more money, so you can have nicer things. Live within your means. Save money and invest money so you can weather the financial storms that might hit your life, and be comfortable with it. Okay? So, to summarize, here we go. There's no amount of money that will make you happy. There's no amount of status that'll make you happy. There's no jewelry where you'll finally get the right piece of jewelry and go, that's it, I have achieved nirvana. It isn't going to happen. You won't find long-term happiness in the accumulation of material possessions. What you can find with money is security. You should look for the opportunity to not worry about money. So save enough that you can weather the storms, stay within your means, and you'll be happier. Well, you'll certainly be more comfortable. Thank you.
Drinking warm water before bed balances blood sugar levels and
Okay, I thought that was a great video. What do you think, Laura?
I liked it. Watsala, you picked this video?
Yes, yes.
It was good. I liked it.
Very good, very good.
And that, I think that rings so true. I feel that way. I feel like there's always going to be something better than what you have. There's always going to be something like a new model that comes out. Like you get a refrigerator or you get a stove, and like there's always going to be somebody who has a better house than you or better clothes than you. And at the end of the day, none of that matters. Because honestly, my main thing, which I'm surprised he didn't talk about, was health. Because I would think that's like the main thing that I'd be grateful for, is that I'm healthy, I'm okay. Because everything else means nothing without your health.
Very true. Okay, here is what I want you guys to do. We will ask questions, specific questions, right? Summarize this thing, video, like talk for a minute. What is this about? What is the problem? What are the solutions he's offering? Who wants to go first? No volunteers? Okay, Laura, you decide who is going to go first. The next time we'll pick another person to go first. So who is first?
Oh, you want me to pick someone?
Yeah, pick a person. So I think the bad guy.
Pumi.
You.
Sorry, I had to.
Okay. It's okay.
Something our lives, yeah. There's something going on. I don't think she understands. What is this about? What is this? What is yeah.
Yeah, in this video, the Daniel says why money can't buy a happiness. So then he explained while money can provide comfort and temporary pleasure, so it does not lead to a long-term happiness, and the true happiness comes in a meaningful relationships and a personal growth, and contributing to the well-being of the others. So, he
He say at the end, money, without money will be miserable, but money can. What is this, but money does something. What was that thing he said? Money gives you what? He said, do this, because money gives you what?
Money equals
Security.
Security.
Remember, he said, save enough money, money will give you at least security. Laura is right. He didn't talk about health. I think nothing matters if you don't have your health.
But actually, can I tell you, even in the area of health, like he was talking about how he went down to even salt and water, and they were, you can buy a bottle of water for $1,100. I guarantee you, like when you look in the health industry, they even try to capitalize on that. And it's like, oh, well, if you take this supplement, you're going to be like your best possible self. Oh, but there's something even better than that for you to be healthy or to lose weight. And I'm not saying that some of the things aren't good, but I think that you get lost. You go down this like rabbit hole of spending all of this money when you can do basic things like walking or, exercising. And it's just a way for people to spend money on things that maybe they don't need to spend money on. But it's a competition almost. I feel like everything, all of these different areas in life are competitions. So I guess one of my questions is, he gave examples. So Watsla, this is for you. He gave examples of where people's expectations rise, they escalate. So what are some examples of where people constantly are trying to spend more money or get better things? So I'll give you one example. Like he said, cars. People like to get better cars. And so what are some other examples?
The people buy houses, and
the lottery winners.
They spend more money for comfortable life. But we can't buy happiness of those things. Actually, it come from within oneself. Money can buy external things, but we can't buy happiness. So
right. And I was actually thinking this TED Talk kind of complements the TED Talk from last week, because last week's TED Talk, they were the speaker was talking about helping other people and how it makes you feel happy. And sometimes I feel like when you're trying to get the best, get the better car, the better house, the better handbag, the better shoes, the best makeup, that it's like internal, it's all about you. Whereas the other TED Talk is about helping somebody else. And I feel like helping somebody else, I feel like you'd get more happiness out of that long term. I think it's nice. I mean,
but sometimes I think I am not agree with him, because if we secure from financial things, so we can live healthy life. And sometimes if we give some money for poor people, so they will happy about that. They can manage his family.
Right. And I agree. I think that, Jagat, when you agree, like, I feel like there's a level.
Yeah,
there's like a level where you have to be secure, right? So you can actually be happy. I don't think he's talking about people who are struggling like financially, they don't have money, right? I think he's talking about people who are at a good place, but they're still not happy with what they have.
Yes.
So here's my question, right? He gave two options. Remember, he said there are two options. He said, stay on the treadmill, right? Then also security. You look for security, not excessive or escalation. But what he means by that is, right? If then you get what does he mean by how did he understand stay on the treadmill? What is he referring to?
I think treadmill is it's not ending.
Yeah, it's a metaphor. Treadmill is we keep going, right? You buy one house, it's too small. You see a better house. You see a better house. You know, that's what it's a metaphor that of this journey of looking for better things. Very good, right?
So, Pumi, you had mentioned something about the lottery winners. So what did he say? Like when they won the lottery, like when somebody wins the lottery, say they win millions of dollars, they're very happy when they win. Of course, you would be happy, right? But what did he say happens after a year? Are they as happy as they were when they won? Are they more happy, less happy? What did he say?
Less happy.
Yeah. Why do you think they're less happy?
That is the key point of this talk. Why people become less happy? You get what you want, right? Then you are not happy. What is the reason?
Money is get a happy. It's not a long-term happy. So then he mentioned the one people won the lottery, and after 1 year ago, then he hasn't that happy in after 1 year. So he that the lottery mentioned about the lottery. Then he explained the happiness is not depend on the money.
Yeah, the main reason is, right, once you get something, your expectations change. Now you want something else. That is the key, right? So every time we achieve something, right? Now, okay, that we are done. Now we want something better, right? So that is the key thing, because our expectation, he says escalate. Escalate means what? Goes higher and higher. It's not that we want, we always want something better, not something, worse, right? It's like, it's not that we want a big house, then our next expectation is, oh, I want a small house. No, you go to a bigger and back. Yeah.
But I thought that it was great when he was showing when he went for his little trip and he had the first house that was like a little tiny house and he loved it. And so this happens, and I'm just curious how you think. Do you think it's more of a mindset that would change this? So I know people, they have a beautiful house, it's a very lovely house, say, but then maybe they visit their friends and their friend's house is much bigger. And now their house isn't good enough. They want a bigger house, but their house really is a beautiful house. So how do you think that people can change the way that they think about these things so they're not constantly trying to raise their expectations? How do you limit your expectations or keep them?
Control, yeah.
Control. How to.
So how, he's asking how?
I don't know the answer. I was just wondering.
I would think, right, it is human nature for wanting things. That's the first thing you have to realize. I think once you realize this is a mind thing, right? This happens to everyone. just realizing that I think would give you some kind of solace. She's saying, yeah, everyone, and then let go.
So you think just being conscious of it
Conscious
is
of your thinking, conscious
Right.
of, I think it can apply to anything, right? If you get angry, if you are conscious of the anger, you have a better control. You can control it better than, it's not that easy. I can say, oh, be conscious. And I don't think I practice that, but
because here's the last question I have. What happens if somebody's expectations are always here, but they never can get here? Like they're always here, but their expectations are here. What happens to that person? How do you think they feel all the time? Happy? Do you think they're happy? Right.
They are not happy.
Right.
Because
I agree they are not happy, but I'll tell you the difference, right? Once you achieve something, that's gone, right? But always, if you have something to look forward to, I think that person lives a better life because there's something that motivates him every day. You know what I mean? I think it's better to have goals. Of course, you keep it, but then once you have other goals, if you want to keep going. I don't know. Do you mean you want? You want to add anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, Laura, you want to finish this section?
Yeah, so I think
It's a very good
that was
topic.
I really, really liked this TED Talk. Thank you, Aksala, for picking that out. I liked it a lot.
Really, it's your turn. Next time you have to send us your TED Talk for next week.
It could be on anything you want.
Anything you want, not more than 15 minutes. We don't want a 30-minute talk, okay? Limit it to maximum 15 minutes. I think this one was very, very good.
I mean, it didn't feel like 15 minutes. It felt like 5.
Kept it very interesting. I thought that was, yeah. All right, I'm going to end this section, okay?